Welcome friends. Sag New Moon, powerful day, 12/12/23 it was today. A new beginning, literally into the darkest time of the year, naturally the last 10 days before winter solstice. And also within a few hours from when I'm recording this, Mercury will turn retrograde, which is less than 10 hours after new moon. So there's multiple shifts which have and are taking place today, going into this very deepest part of the year of introspection, but also of rebonding with the people who are most important to you. Juno is about partnership, about teamwork, and really feeling, building that inner strength, feeling that there's these many pillars necessary to hold a big roof. We are working together as a team, and we are more and more coming into a coherence of resonating all on the same wavelength, and this time is particularly good for that, as it allows us to really tune to a much deeper layer of who we are. These last 10 degrees are literally the coming home. After 350 days or so, now we are in the integration phase in Sagittarius, where it's all about higher knowledge and truth and wisdom, of understanding the bigger picture. It's the university of the universe, literally. That is what Sagittarius is. That inner fire of wanting to know, and of also wanting to really enjoy that freedom, that space, that enormity of the cosmos, of reality, of creation on all its aspects. A very expansive energy. Jupiter, who is the ruler of this sign, is bringing in. And you see that then the other thing which really links in here right with Jupiter is that beautiful big trine of Jupiter, Mercury, and the dark moon. Now this is very special, as Mercury is just about stationary, standing still and turning direct just in a few hours. So this is setting the stage for the next 3 weeks, in that sense of coming to terms with our ideas, our mental projections, kind of catching up with getting everything in order, going through the layers of undealt things on our desk. That's kind of the Mercury retrograde phase, inviting us to do that, a review, a deeper look at things. And this is a beautiful trine which invites us to expand our thinking and look deeply into the shadow at the same time, and also see that there is an upside to all that darkness. AW197 is that ability to turn every situation around into its positive. It's that boomerang effect, you could call it, the art of war, the stratagem that allows to really receive the energy from darkness and work with it creatively, like an Aikido fighter receives the energy of the opponent and uses it to defeat the other. It's an extremely wonderful energy, and it is fitting into this big trine. So this shows us that yes, deep insights are happening all through the collective, literally rippling out in all directions. Mercury's sign here at the beginning of this month, literally with new moon, Mercury, the Mercury sign Virgo, which is all about analytical thinking and methodology and integrating all what we know into one complex reality. Also Mercury sign up here, so there's lots of Mercury going on, and Mercury here in the 9th degree of Capricorn. I wanted to redo this quickly, again out of the Sabian symbols. An angel carrying a harp, the revelation of the spiritual meaning and purpose at the core of any life situation. Very beautiful. It really is a philosophical place where we learn to see everything in a greater panorama as part of a bigger picture. Everything has its meaning. It's about attunement to the rhythm of universal life. Insights are coming without us asking for them. They're literally just arising. This is that time of the year when we allow for that. So being quiet, silent, meditating, going into a retreat, which does not mean that you literally have to just close the doors, but just take every so often a few deep breaths, or close your eyes for a moment, and change from the brain to the heart. That is really the big shift which is in the process, in the collective, individually and collectively both. It is that what the Sufis call the changing of the lights, that the heart is put above the brain, that the heart is the true ruler of life, because the heart is the one which has the direct insights into reality. That's where we are all connected. That's where everything is meeting with everything else. It's that quantum entanglement, you could say, that is happening in the heart space. And once we are tuning into that, then everything changes. Then we will no more be who we were, because we now have a much greater respect, understanding of everything else other than who we are, seeing it as a natural contrast, if you want, because this is which makes life rich. It's the many colors, the many different personalities and people, and giving everyone a space. That is very Sagittarian too, that understanding of universality in a way. Now also, that time of Sagittarius makes you think of middle of winter, sitting in your hut, having a fire going, staring into the ember, getting lost in that depth of fire glowing in the pit. A very meditative space that is too, as well as watching the starry night with all the beautiful depth it brings. Millions of light years we can look into the deep. It is getting lost in that infinity. A few interesting things happened today too. It started out with that Betelgeuse occultation, when early morning in Greenwich time, universal time, Asteroid Leona was moving in front of one of the brightest stars in the sky, Betelgeuse, and this was a astronomical sensation, and I want to show you here a few links. Well, first of all, today is also a one day in the Mayan calendar, the red magnetic skywalker, initiating a new 13-day period. The skywalker is all about integration and connecting the different dimensions together and raising straight up into the heavens like the stalk of a corn plant, very strong, independent. Pillars of light is the other name for it. So this is a great affirmation we're receiving of being ourselves, regardless of whatever else is pushing against us, to keep that inner strength and hold on to it and know that you are in the right place at the right time. So this I wanted just to throw in. That's why I had it open here. So this is the constellation of Orion. This is Betelgeuse. It's left upper corner, what's known as a red giant, and there is speculations that Betelgeuse might be very, very close to blowing up as a supernova, which would be an incredible event, will be an incredible event once it happens. We don't know, this could be years away or a lifetime away or 10,000 years, it's hard to guess. Anyway, Leona, that asteroid which moved in front of Betelgeuse, and because Leona is very small, it was just in a very small... Okay, let me just close this here for a minute. Okay, it was in a very narrow corridor where that could be observed. Here you have it. That is where within minutes this shadow of that small asteroid was traveling over the globe. 1:17 a.m. it was in Greenwich at the time when it was exact. And this was where the path goes over Florida. And here this was just a video footage hours ago uploaded onto the net. So here you see Betelgeuse, and now you see it's dimming away. And let's see, where is that moment? Yeah, here it is, where it's almost disappearing. So it turned out that Leona was not quite big enough to really obscure Betelgeuse completely. However, there is this interesting theme going. You remember in November we had these 3 Syrian blue light flashes. You can go back to these recordings, something which really inserted a whole new star energy into this planet. And now we have an asteroid moving in front of the brightest star of Orion, and I want to show you these stars are connected. Here, this is the Orion constellation, and Sirius is nearby here, the main star of Canis Major. Anyway, this is connected. An occultation is something very special. It is when another body, celestial body, moves between Earth and that particular planet or star. And in that sense, Leona, that small asteroid, becomes the messenger for that universal greater energy, kind of channeling that energy through and bringing it down to Earth. Leona, the lioness, very interesting. Lion energy, feminine energy, is grounding the constellation Orion's frequencies, I said here, into our inner solar system. Leona is the intermediary, so let's hint at who and what characters will bring this star energy down and manifest it, channeling this new frequency band. So it was also interesting that just 2 days ago, one of my friends posted the December message of Grandma Chandra, who is one of these disembodied teachers who gives messages and guidance to those who are listening. So she says this is the start of the opening of the gateway of Orion. All really amazing synchronicities of Orion and Sirius. As you certainly know, Sirius is a super important star. Just think of the Dogon culture in Africa. If you have not looked that up, just Google it, Dogon, that's D-O-G-O-N. And they knew about Sirius A and Sirius B, that there's a double star there as long as they existed. Astronomers discovered that only a few decades ago with strong telescope, that in fact it was not just one big star, Sirius A, but there's a small one, Sirius B, which has very much the size of our sun, interestingly enough being a brown dwarf, but there's a resonance there, it's about exactly the same size. So there is a relation there already from on that level. Anyway, this gateway, according to Grandma Chandra, is open to the 17th of December. Let's see how that will manifest. So most interesting in my view was that moment when Betelgeuse was exactly on top of, or I should say it otherwise, Leona exactly on top of Betelgeuse. Mercury was here at the 0 meridians anchor point, you could say. And as Mercury has been also conjuncting Pholus and Quasar, and will connect with these two again exactly in the next few days. So this is a multi-day conjunction. So it is worth looking at the meaning of these two once more. Pholus is always able to go a step further than ever, step out of the circle of habits, open a whole new door. And Quasar is kind of the one which even helps this energy to really gain momentum. Quasar is a creation energy, singing creation into existence. That's where it comes from the Tongva people, the creation god. Also, Quasar always seems to first push us against a ceiling we are to break through, literally. So there's some resistance, also some difficult experience can be involved in this, which eventually, if we go through this portal, there will be a great payback in liberation, in the kind of the pride of having done a big step in the right direction. That's kind of how it will feel in retrospect. And again, this tunes into what's going on collectively in terms of insights which are coming down to Earth over the next few weeks into January the 3rd. That's how long Mercury is moving backwards. Now let's look at the new moon once more. I want to show you one more thing here. just the exact same axis, the same configuration we had 2 days earlier, when on the 10th of December heliocentric Vesta was exactly opposing the galactic center. Vesta here 2710, and the galactic center naturally here 2710. It's not marked here in the chart, but that's where it is. The Sagittarius A, that hub around which all stars of what we can see in the night sky are rotating around. This is our local universe center. In that sense, it is the higher dimension of solar consciousness. In that sense, it's way more universal. Whenever the galactic center is activated, we truly are elevated to a much more expansive place. And at the same time, the great attractor was here at the 4th house cusp, and this is again true for the new moon as well as for Vesta's exact opposition to the galactic center. Now, Vesta at first is the veneration of a higher force. It is that keeping the holy fire burning all the time. It is guarding the fire, guarding the holy fire. It's the temple servant, which were women at the time in Rome, and they were making sure the light never got out. Also the hearth fire, all that guarding of the holy fire. And Vesta in that sense represents our highest aim toward expressing, serving, doing what is necessary to keep that holy energy grounded in this reality. And then there is Varda here. Varda is a newly found minor planet, Kuiper belt object, which is non-resonant with the inner planets, in that sense bringing a whole kind of independent perspective. Varda after a Tolkien character named, those of you who are familiar with the Tolkien story, the goddess of star creation. Let me just show you quickly here. This is a website I found. The Kindler of Light, the elf-like queen of the Valar, creator of the stars, one of the most powerful servants of Almighty Eru Ilúvatar in Tolkien's mythology. So you see, there's a theme here really going. It's all about the building the link to a higher dimension of non-physical reality, building that bridge and inviting these wonderful galactic cosmic energies to work with us, to come through us, to be grounded by us. That's literally who we are here meant to be. We are the living expressions of Gaia. We are meant to express in congruence with nature's calls and the greater cosmos inspirations, and bring that down into the physical and express it. That's what we are meant to get even more clear about in these coming few weeks. So this is then the chart when Mercury is a turning direction, the exact still point, Sag rising, the moon now really close to Varda and the galactic center here at 27 degrees and 10 minutes. So, and then Mercury here in the 9th degree of Sagittarius. This is the degree of attunement according to the Sabian symbols. An angel playing the harp. So it is again a higher dimension we are attuning into, setting the stage, as I said, all the way into January the 2nd. That's how long Mercury will go backward. In that sense, it's a time of review, of going through the stack of unresolved files on your desk, for example, but also in a very general way of revisiting what we have not yet come to clarity with. Reflect on your beliefs, on your insights, on your experiences, on what you hear and what you don't. Putting questions into words, confronting, challenging yourself to a deeper level of insight. And then we have here this beautiful trine here with Mercury, Jupiter and the black moon. So an interesting aspect of this present new moon is Huya. If we go back to the exact new moon, you see Huya is here. Another newer planet, a Plutino, means in the family of Pluto, so to say, about transformation and rebirth and going deep into that zone between the dimensions. You could say it's the cocoon phase, and very much so Huya has been named after the Venezuelan god of rain and winter. Ask us to open ourselves to transform fixed patterns, particularly from the past, residue which we still have not resolved. So Huya often is found becoming really important or showing up during times of psychotherapy or work on a deeper mental level, elimination of a mental virus is one of the keywords Amable gives on her website. That's where I got this information from. Thank you. So this is yet another dimension of this present new moon, telling us exactly that, a time to go deep within and search for a greater denominator to your life. And again, yes, it's about teamwork, partnership, very central here at this time. Family gatherings will be super important as we are refreshing our bonds, and this is the time of the year where this is all meant to happen. So it's a great timing cosmically into that new year 2024, which will definitely blow you all away. I mean, it's the 7 year we are just coming out of, in the final stretches, bringing in that mystery and kind of that fluid, interdimensional and touching onto infinity. There's all this everything is in constant motion. That's the 7, and then the 8 is a structural number, the power number, which really nails it then down into a new form. And it will be the year of the dragon energy flowing in pretty much starting January the 2nd and the 3rd, when Mercury and Jupiter really much back to back will turn direct. So anyway, this is where we are heading towards right now. We are not yet there right now. We are in that time of deep inspiration, and this is also beautifully visible with this trine from Uranus to the ascendant, from the 9th house. And then we have that 150-degree angle, I want to say, to Sun and Moon. Freedom, liberty, expansion, that sense of wonder, all of that. Yes, enjoy that time. We are getting deeper into these last 10 days of the year. It is a time of great insights. Okay, let's look a little bit further here. So I thought I quickly throw in Huya's discovery chart, that Plutino of introspection and working, transforming deep patterns. You see there's the Moon Saturn energy, again very much about retreat and going deep inside. Also Sedna is here, integrating pain, understanding that there's always a positive side to everything and anything that happens and happened in our lives. It is about finding that silver lining, and that is where also gratefulness comes in. Once you see that whatever bad happened, it has a silver lining, there is something good which came out of it, and in the end it is anything and everything that happens to us in our personal lives and collectively is bringing us to where we are right now, to this recognition of a much greater potency and power within us. It's literally something might be kicking our ass, but it is helping us to wake up and to realize a presence, a power within ourselves, a knowing, an intuition arising, all of that because of the circumstances. So it is a very philosophical time too. And interesting is here the synchronicity with our present times. Jupiter, at the time Huya was discovered, you see, was also in Taurus with the root of that energy in Taurus moon, and that is what the winter solstice will bring. You see the Taurus moon here. So Huya's energy is super important right now. It allows us to redefine creation in a way. That particularly that 0-degree Taurus moon is redesigning everything from scratch, you could say. It is planting seeds, and then Jupiter moving direct just a couple days after the new year. Here stationary already, but on the 7th house cusp, still in the 6th, together with the North Node. It is all about finding healing in a bigger way. Also the Scorpio rising of the winter solstice, very important. Again, going to the deep, into that stage of the cocoon phase of regeneration. And just for fun, I calculated where Huya's energy, where she emerged out of the unconscious into conscious recognition. That's what discovery charts are really showing. The moment when a new planet wants to be seen and found and integrated, kind of surfacing from the deep. And that winter solstice coming up, what is where they meet these energies? Interesting. Here in many ways, the moon and the black moon and Jupiter, again all in Cancer and in Taurus, sorry about that, and most exactly that conjunction. So this is a time of great insights, of piercing through the shadows and coming to a depth of insight. That is when the moon is exactly at the farthest distance from Earth. It's apogee, which means away, far away. It is where kind of the fear comes up. We might even lose the moon. It goes ever farther away from Earth, where it finally turns around and will slowly edge its way closer again. It's the deepest trench in the ocean where all the residue of unresolved things are settling. That's also the black moon. Interesting also, again, the 9th degree of Capricorn. Remember, that is where Mercury is right now stationing, the 9th degree. And here is Pluto by in that midpoint chart. So it all kind of really works in amazing ways together. Mars here at the 4th house cusp, very similar to the new moon chart, really kindling that deep fire of intensity. I really thought this was telling. And well, just here a few more charts quickly. That's a preview of where we are going. Jupiter stationary direct then on the last day of the year, really getting out of its hiding and expanding in a very visible and loud fashion into the new year. Amazing that this happens just on that very last day of the year, and on the first day then Mercury turns direct. And all under Scorpio risings. You see these last few charts all had Scorpio rising, so it is really bringing that intensity of transformation to the forefront of who we are. The only thing I want to emphasize once more is be creative. Meditation can be found while we are in a creative space, when we move out of the left brain of logical analytical thinking into a creative mode of timelessness, into the right brain. Very important. It's also a perfectly Mercury retrograde expression of just stop dealing with the big issues, turn the volume down, go inside, reflect and process. Yes, go through the piles of unresolved things, work yourself backwards and to the core, to the bottom of the pile. Literally, that's where we are wanting to go. Well, I guess that gave you a bit of a depth of insight of what these few weeks ahead are offering as potentials, huge potentials. It is really coming to a close with a huge chapter and getting ready internally for an enormous boost into a powerful 8 year of dragon energy and of huge unprecedented changes in a very, very positive way. But as we know, anything positive only really comes to full manifestation when there's the opposing force pushing hard in the other direction to initiate all the reserves within the positive to get going and moving and really to allow its ass to be kicked. You could say this is important to see the value in that, and then everything changes, then everything becomes possible. Thanks for joining and listening here to my channel. I hope you got something out of that. I hope you got some inspiration for really going to that place of internalization, looking into the ember of the fire. Take this as the one little bit to stay with you and find the center of the universe, there at that center point where all lines meet, where the singularity is hiding, where coherence, everything comes in to synchronicity with one another. That's where we are going. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and see you soon.